These are the guys that are succeeding at NoFap. Of all the hundreds of guys that I work with in my practice, these guys, when I checked in with them about their porn habit and their masturbation habit, I was really proud of them, and I'm going to highlight them, and I'm going to tell you exactly what they did right, what they succeeded at, and why they were successfully able to beat porn in 2021. First guy, number one, Immanuel. Okay, that says controlling triggers. This is a guy who is often emotional, stressed out, and he uses porn, masturbation to go back to as an emotional support system, as a coping mechanism when he's feeling intense stress, and that's his biggest trigger. We found through studies that the reason that most people cope with porn is to alleviate stress and anxiety. So for him, his biggest roadblock was how does he respond to stressful situations, stress such as from related to work, but particularly relating to relationships, particularly with his parents and with friends and people close to him, is if he was in an argument or fighting, he would feel really frustrated and just bottle it up and just explode through watching porn. That's what she said. And he would just go back to porn as a constant crutch to go back to. And you know that this is very common. When was the last time that you felt really strong negative emotions, and how did you deal with that negative emotion? Did you deal with it in a not so productive way, like going back to your old friend, the porn habit, or did you do it in a productive way, which is what Immanuel did, is he told somebody about it. This is across the board why some people are typically better at managing addictions than other women. Typically women, as an example, women are better at handling addictions and are less susceptible to addictions is because they know how to regulate their emotions better than men typically do across the board. Don't even argue, guys. Addictions, porn addiction, game addiction, alcohol, drugs, men are better, way worse at this than women aren't, is because generally some people are better at managing negative emotions. Immanuel had to learn that whenever he was experiencing stress in his relationships or through work, he had to go to his parents and talk about, or somebody to have a healthy outlet, a productive outlet to talk about his triggers and his negative emotions and kind of let those emotions out instead of bottling them in and then going to the easiest way to run away from emotions. You know this very well. The easiest way to take you out of a state of extreme stress and anxiety into a state of just calm and forgetting about them temporarily is through just going to your old friend pornography, all right? So you can remember that you can't beat porn if you're always using porn as a crutch to alleviate your negative emotions, particularly stress and anxiety. All right, number two, William, this guy. Here is a high achiever, just like a lot of you guys. William is a high achiever. He was like, I'm going to quit porn. He was all set to do it, kind of like me. He was like, I'm going to do it, and I'm so determined, and this is going to be it, and I'm never going to relapse again. Guess what? He relapsed. He did really good for his part. He did really good. He relapsed, and guess what happened? He went way out of control, and he emotionally speaking, he was depressed. He was ashamed. He couldn't even come to our calls, and I kept calling him up and like, where are you, dude? I know you probably relapsed. That's why you're not responding to me. And it turns out that he relapsed, and he was going through a spiral, right? I'm proud of him. Why? Not because he didn't spiral out of control. He did, emotionally speaking, but he came back, he bounced back, and he decided, guys, listen to this. He decided to learn from his relapse instead of treating it as a failure, as many times you guys do. Treating it as a failure is not going to get you anywhere. But if you decide to learn from your experience, you can get back on the saddle and keep on riding. If you've ever started a business or been in a relationship, it takes investment. There are setbacks, there are failures, but it's not a failure until you decide it's a failure. It's not a failure until you decide to quit and to not learn something from your experience. William, my friends, he decided to get back in the saddle. He came back and he was like, all right, it was a small setback. It was a little bump in the road on this journey to the top of this mountain. And it was a setback, but I'm going to get back in the saddle and keep on riding and keep on coming back. And that's where he is. He did really good this year. Chris, another guy I was super proud of. He went through a breakup, like probably one of the most stressful and porn binge-worthy experiences to go through is you had a breakup with somebody a girl, right? A woman. I was really proud of him because literally like a few days after his breakup, he came on a call with me, right? And we had a mentoring call, and he was really calm and chill about it. And I was like, dude, like, how are you doing? Like, what's up? And he was like, I learned stuff about myself, and I really wanted to go back to porn. But again, like Immanuel did, I felt the stress, I felt the anxiety, I felt the cycle coming back, the dopamine relapse coming back, and I decided to tell somebody about my stress. I decided to reach out. He reached out to me actually and had a conversation with me about it. And he decided to take a different direction. Guys, when you're faced with a trigger, when you're faced in the new year 2022 and beyond, you're going to have temptations. You're going to have opportunities. It's the people who are really succeeding that decide intentionally to do something about it. It's people who are really succeeding that are working on it, are boots, pulling up their bootstraps and getting to work. And when the rubber hits the road, when the shit hits the fan, you have got to work on these areas, okay? You've got to figure out how to control your negative emotions. Otherwise, your negative emotions will control you, and porn will always be the easiest way to cope with those, and you'll always keep porn part of your life. Number two, if you can't figure out how to bounce back, then you're just going to keep on failing. You've got to see your relapses as a learning experience, not as a failure. You're winning when you're constantly growing and constantly learning. Number three, if you're going through a breakup, if you're going through anything that is super stress-inducing, you have an opportunity to practice what I'm teaching you here right on this channel. Get back on the saddle, keep on writing, and you will see success. I want to give you guys a good video, if you haven't checked it out yet, the how-to guide about how to quit porn in 21 days. I'll put that link right down below. And if you want to succeed in the next year, this is kind of a little bit of a learning experience from 2021, but I made a video about how to make 2022 the best year of your life for your NoFap journey, for your porn recovery. I'm going to put that video right over here, and you should definitely check that out right now. It's good to have you. Take care.